So happy to have you. Welcome to the Metal Margarita Show. Fox Hill Road is with us. Groovy Pantesco and Rebecca Cooper, the
Hey,
dynamic duo. We're glad to have you with us today. How are you?
we're great.
Great,
Thank you.
thank you.
Wonderful. And now there's a highly anticipated album that's going to be coming out soon.
Yes,
But
the
we're going
album.
to dive into a little bit more about you two, your background, and your inspiration behind what you do now. Now, Groovy, you're a guitarist,
Yes,
singer-songwriter, producer. Rebecca, you're also singer-songwriter and co-producer of much of this material that you two perform and write.
yes.
Yep.
Let's go back to the beginning. Where are you both from, and how'd you connect? How'd you make this connection together?
Uh,
Well,
let you go.
I'm from a tiny little town in Georgia called Dallas, Georgia, not Texas. And in college, I started a band and have just been doing music ever since. And I'll let you answer where you're from.
I'm from Miami. I moved here in 2019. I also work in the movie industry, so it was booming here, so I came here. When the pandemic hit, I started writing. I went nuts. I played in a lot of cover bands in Florida, in South Florida, and I just never had time to write, and it never opened up writing. And then when the pandemic hit, it opened up. Went through a horrible thing and wrote a whole album, put that out. Met her right after that album release party and wrote a new album, much better content at that point,
Happier
happier
content.
content. and and when we met at a place where our friends were playing, I saw them. Her and her friend came in, and I waved them over to come sit with us. Didn't know who they were, and we've literally been together ever since. And she knew I wrote, and one day she comes, oh, she's like, "Well, you need to like slow down, and so I can catch up, because I'd written a whole album about her." So she came in with a voice note of a song that's on the first record. It's called Spyglass. And I thought it was a beautiful song. I hadn't really heard her sing, and I did a little bit on that and a little bit that night that we played with that band and sat in. And I was floored with the song. And it wasn't the whole song. It was like it had the verse and like a kind of a chorusy thing to it.
Trying to learn to play guitar.
She was trying to figure out on guitar, but I heard what she was trying to do, and I literally recorded the entire song over a weekend, and then she came in and I said, "Here, now sing." And it's pretty much, and I do all the harmonies, and
Yep.
because she's not here all the time, we're starting to spend, I spend more time at her house and her here, but once I get into the studio, I'm all, I can't stop. Like right now, we're working on our release party, and I said we can't write any music right now because if I write a song, I got to come in here and do it. I'll lose my mind.
He can't stop.
I can't sit still. So
What a beautiful distraction, though,
it
of
is.
course.
It is. I mean, I love this room that I'm in is, where I do everything,
Good for each other because I write a lot slower. I have more of a let it breathe kind of way. Write this. Does it feel right? And he's just like, go, go, go. So we're good for each other, I think. He pushes
And
me.
lyrically, she, like all the new stuff is pretty much her. She'll get stuck on a line and I'll fill in a gap. That's pretty much how I do that. And then, but she's really good about just building a lyrical song, much better than me. I never liked the way I wrote lyrics. So it makes my life a lot more fun. It's not on me. It's on her.
Well,
And they're great, it's what she's been going through.
yes.
And I let her have at it, because I know that's how you write great songs is you just let people go through what they go through, and that's what needs to be heard.
Right.
I don't stop. I don't go, what are you writing about? I don't
Thank
care.
goodness, no.
I love what she writes about. Because sometimes it's about me and it's kind of cool.
Yeah. We have some love songs. We have some breakup songs. We have some songs
Or just
kind
things. It's
of
cool.
fun things that are cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of music and writing is that, we're sharing little bits and pieces and snapshots of our lives, our stories,
Yep.
which are so relatable to the people that are going to be hearing them, because at the end of the day, we're all very similar, more similar than different.
Sure.
So, you know, and it's beautiful, the balance that you two have together, you know, you complement one another, and that's very special when you're creating and
Agreed.
co-creating music, and, you know, finding your sound and bringing that together and what you're, you know, producing. So
Yeah.
it's really a beautiful thing, and it's a beautiful thing for you to share with us, you know, and for the audience to hear that, because this inspires others that may be a little uncertain about the road they want to take creatively. And
Well,
you know, there is no, everyone has their own process.
Yes. And
Sure.
though you said the word process, and that's what I love the most is the whole process of, I love the idea of her sitting down. Most of the time we sit down and write stuff, it's very fast.
Sure.
Like we have 3 brand new ones that we just did, and we wrote them in a hotel
Weekend.
room over
In
the
a
weekend.
Yeah.
You know,
Let's talk a little bit about your style. You've got a blend of like rock, country, Americana, you know, just the classic singer-songwriter sound. You liken yourself to the band and the Eagles, and, you know, a lot of music that we grew up with,
what I grew
and
up on.
songs that are so familiar and just part of our culture, and just, you know, telling again the story of current events and the news and how America was and became over a certain amount of decades. So, you know,
Right.
it's this beautiful storytelling that comes out with this, not only with this style, but with each artist that presents it. So
Yeah.
is this what you're working on? Is this part of, so tell us about Tell the Tale. This is the album that's coming out September. Is it due to be released?
September 26th.
And
it
I
comes
think
out.
I think it tells the tale. I think a lot of this, a lot of the songs are healing work that I've done, coming out of a divorce from a long marriage, and just a lot of the healing that I've done. I write every day, not necessarily music, but just write.
Oh, and I mean, she writes. We're not talking like a little paragraph. No, she writes like pages.
Well,
She goes through a journal book in like 2 weeks and it's done.
oh, it's not that much, but well, depends on the size of the journal book. It could be a week, yeah. But yeah, I write every day, so I always have something that's, as soon as he plays a chord and I'm like, ooh, I got something for that.
Spinning my wheels and I'm chasing my tail. How the storyline goes, always going for broke.
Placing my bets on something better this time. It's how the storyline goes. Still writing them rhymes. All my life I look around me, hoping, waiting, will they find me? Always wishing for what's behind the unknown door.
thank you for sharing that with us. Thank you for sharing your music and for being on the show. We're looking forward to debuting these songs on the show on both shows, and
Awesome.
people learn more about Fox Hill Road. So
Thank you
two
very
have a
much.
wonderful rest of your day, and we'll be in touch, and we'll be seeing you soon.
Okay.
Thank you. It's
Bye,
great to
thank
meet
you.
you.
Nice to meet you too. Bye-bye, guys.
Bye.
So welcome to the Metal Margarita Show. Dr. Victoria Hartman is with us, the Erotic Heritage Museum of Las Vegas. How are you?
I am well. How are you today?
We are very well, and we are excited to discover some things about the museum that maybe our own neighbors here in Las Vegas don't know about, and go into a little bit of the background and what they can expect when they come to visit you.
Sure.
And have some fun conversation about, the mission of, the museum, and what a beautiful thing that you folks have done and what you put together. So, it's something that celebrates something so very natural about the human spirit and our nature.
Yes.
So we'll go back to the beginning a little bit. You started with the museum as an intern some years back.
Yes.
But I've also done studied, in your collegiate work was on sexuality studies. Can you tell us a little bit about your background and kind of your journey? Really, like, how did you get into all this? Like, where did it start? Where did it start? And you go back as far as you feel you need to. But where are you from originally?
Thank you. Thanks for all the questions. I really appreciate that. I will do my best to be brief. I am the result of a torrid affair between a U.S. serviceman and a young German woman while she was a stewardess, and 3 months later I was on the way, and they ended up being married for 15 years, my parents. But my upbringing largely, so I'm sort of this mixture of, American patriotism and German rebellion. It's this weird thing, but it mixed really well in me, and so my father was, he worked a lot and was on tour sometimes with the military and so forth. He was in the Air National Guard. And he was with the New England Bell for like 50 years, forever. He retired from there, and so he was gone a lot. And my mother, she was an entrepreneur, but she was my primary caretaker, and so I was heavily influenced by German culture, and the permissiveness and sort of the normalization of intimacy and how our bodies work and so forth. And sort of a pivotal moment when I believe that I started on this journey was when I was about 5, and I had some confusing feelings that I didn't understand, and I walked into my parents' bedroom as a 5-year-old and was questioning my mother, what was wrong with me. And my mother delivered the perfect parenting moment, which was she was ironing, and I still remember the green shag carpet. I'm aging myself now. And the orange and brown circle bedspread, and she's on an ironing board ironing, and she just sort of casually turned to me and said, "Oh, honey, that's just you growing up." And she completely normalized my experience with, how I was becoming kind of self-aware with my body, but also made it safe. So I wasn't, I didn't have she never instilled any shame into me.
Right.
So that's where it started. And after my parents divorced and we moved to Germany full time, because we kind of went back and forth between here and Germany. And then when my parents divorced, we stayed in Germany. And so I was, my education in human relations was largely German in the schools there, and things are spoken of very openly. There's nothing taboo. So we don't, again, the education system over there doesn't instill shame in you. It instills how to take ownership of your body, how to set boundaries, what reproduction is, and so forth. And I was very lucky to have that experience of the German school system around, sexuality. So, but then when my mother, she decided she didn't want to stay. And so when I was about 15 or so, we moved back. And I really struggled with American teen culture in the 80s around sexuality. It was, it was the antithesis to everything that I had been brought up with. And
Right.
after struggling with substance abuse and a teen pregnancy, which I have a wonderful son. I have 2 kids. I have a son and a daughter, and adore them. So I don't regret that at all. But after I got sober, I was like, what am I going to do with my life? And sexuality was just at the forefront. So I started in college. I went back to college as a freshman and just I was singularly focused on this path, and that brought me here today.
So the one thing that I'm really interested about now, the museum exists, of course, to preserve art, erotic art, the history behind some of these things that have been around for centuries, thousands of years. I mean, since the beginning of time, obviously.
Yeah.
So, but what I found and what I read when I was doing a little research was the unlikely pairing of the 2 people that founded the museum. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so the 2 individuals who founded the museum was Dr. Ted McElvenna and Harry Money. Now, who, by the way, also is a doctor. He has a doctorate as well. And they came together during, if I'm not mistaken, during the 70s, during the time when Harry was being prosecuted for trumped up charges on obscenity and the sort of intricate ways they go around to try to, here in the United States with the First Amendment and stuff. That wasn't a direct pathway. There are other ways, but they kind of peppered it in with that. And Dr. Ted was an expert witness in his court cases. And Dr. Ted, of course, was a preacher and a religious man. And then they somehow, came together and forged this relationship that lasted almost up until Dr. Ted's death many years ago. Mr. Money owns the museum, and I worked for him, and I have now since 2000 and let's see, I've been at the museum since 2009, but I've worked for Mr. Money since 2012. So I've been with him a long time.
We're gonna stay up to date and know what's coming and what's happening, what's on the boilerplate, because we're excited for everyone to be able to explore and discover the museum if they haven't already. And if they have, then to make a return visit, because I'm sure there's something new to see that wasn't
all
there
the
before.
time. Oh, it's changing all the time. Yep. That would be awesome. I'd love to have everybody come and visit.
And we thank you so much for being on the show and visiting with us and telling us, giving us a little insight and some scoop into what you do and more about the museum. So thank you.
Thank you so much.
And keep an eye out, folks, for Benny around town.
Oh, yeah. Just look for that big black hearse with orange lettering on the side.
You're gonna need to make a trip out to Coffinwood and Pahrump and let Benny meet all the hearses out there.
I so want to. We have a lot of trips long distance planned for Benny, including all the way to Salt Lake City.
Wonderful. Yeah. Awesome. All right, Miss Victoria, thank you so much for being with us. Victoria Hartman, Erotic Heritage Museum, Las Vegas. Thank you so much for being with us, and we'll be seeing you soon.
I would love that. Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye-bye now.
Bye.
So we're here with Brian Schoening, the coffin maker, Church of the Coffin, Coffinwood of Pahrump are probably one of the most interesting attractions you'll ever visit when coming to the desert in the Las Vegas area. So, when we've been speaking about all the things people can expect when they come to visit, and when they come to see your shop, which we're seeing a little bit of that in the background. Sometimes people just want a nice, quiet place to sleep. So there's lots of different reasons why we would want you to make a coffin for us. But one thing that's interesting is you do a lot of work with obsidian, and I want you to explain to us a little bit of how special this volcanic glass is to where you make items such as jewelry and things with it, and in the shape of coffins, which is fun, and the theme of Coffinwood. So tell us a little bit about this special naturally occurring glass.
Okay, I can definitely do that. Obsidian is something that is found worldwide, and one of the all artists have underlying reasons why we do things, right? And with the obsidian, which comes in a multitude of colors, and it is glass, so it's as sharp as glass. And a lot of native peoples, worldwide, have used it for tool making. Everybody's familiar with obsidian spears and arrowheads and all that. Well, one of the fun little facts about obsidian is that native peoples figured out how to make saws with it. The natural byproduct of making an arrowhead is the chips that come from when you're doing what is called knapping, and that is the creation of the arrowhead. So they would find these chips, or they'd make these chips, which again is the byproduct, and they would break the tips of them off, which are very, very sharp, and they would embed them in a pine bough, stretching that, and then they'd stretch that pine bough very tight to effectively create a saw. Now, what would native peoples need, a saw for? Because their houses were made out of animal skins, or they lived in caves. They didn't need them for modes of transportation because they had horses or by foot, and basically they needed to make a special box. The first coffins were cut using obsidian.
Wow.
So a little background, a little bit of, there's a tie-in everywhere. It can be clear, it can be pitch black, it can have streaks of black through the clear, it can have reds, it can have almost a pumpkin color to it, it can have snowflakes, it can have, there is just so many different varieties, greens, rainbow colors, silver sheen, gold sheen. It just goes on and on and on, and it works really good for carving because I can also do carvings with it, small sculptures with it, which I've done a few, and they're on the website coffinitup.com. Everything that's on there has been custom made, and sent to a customer. So it really is a playground for the mind, so that you can get ideas. It helps generate more ideas, and then you email in, and then I quote out whatever the idea might be. So it's just a little background as to what Coffin It Up actually is.
Oh, fun. And you have people come from all over to visit Coffinwood. And how often do you run your tours? And we want people to go, they can book directly through the website to come and visit.
And you can get to the website through coffinitup.com, or you can go to Coffinwood, Nevada. Currently we're doing tours on the weekends. And I've got multiple time slots from 8 a.m. to early afternoon. Generally the tours are about 2 hours in length. Depends on how talkative everybody gets and how many questions. I don't have a hard stop, and it's not a cattle drive. I like to do smaller groups, which allows for a more personal contact, and context. We're right on the road to Death Valley, so a lot of people will stop here before or after on the way to Death Valley and Ash Meadows. So it makes it, kind of fits the theme and sets the tone for their whole excursion out from Las Vegas.
We thank you so much for being on the Metal Margarita Show, and we're excited for people to meet you and hear about Coffinwood, and then come out and see you and visit.
Perfect. I look forward to everybody coming in and paying us a visit.
So
Constantly
Coffinwood
putting the fun back in the funeral.
Coffinwoodpahrump.com. Is that the best way for people to reach you?
Coffin It Up at Yahoo, or coffinitup.com. or Coffinwood, Nevada, or NV, all of them will bring you to Coffinwood.
Coffinwood. All right. Wonderful. Well, you have as you say, a delightfully
Gloomy
dark
day?
day.
Yeah, a delightfully dark day. I like that. It's one
All
that I
right.
use all the time. Thank you very much for having me.
There's been another deadly shooting at a local elementary school. According to authorities, the suspect acquired the gun from a family member's home before using it to take the lives of innocent children and teachers.
Store your gun securely, locked, unloaded, and away from ammo.
Attention business owners, get your messages to Pahrump and Nye County by advertising with KNYE 95.1 FM, the big voice of Pahrump and Nye County. Call 775-537-6100. That's 775-537-6100. Give in to your mad cravings with a healthy bowl from Teriyaki Madness. Real food made to order, prepared with fresh, high-quality ingredients that make you feel like $1,000,000. Satisfy your cravings at these Southern Nevada locations in Pahrump and Henderson, where friendly staff is awaiting your visit. Experience the madness. Teriyaki Madness. Curiosity didn't kill the cat. It just went to Coppercat Books, Henderson's only independent bookstore with the largest selection of books, movies, gifts, graphic novels, and more. Coppercat Books is located at 1570 West Horizon Ridge Parkway, Suite 170, Henderson, Nevada. For more information, call 702-567-2666 or visit coppercatbooks.com.